All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, let's go. All right, dive in.
Welcome back to the Dirt Drive podcast. Just me today, Tom here. We're at GlasWerks DMV with Adrian and some crew that are running the 24-hour of Appalachia Buckeye Blitz this weekend. I'm told it's your first real off-road trip. Is that right?
That is correct.
Oh boy.
Yeah, bad decisions have been made.
Head first.
I mean, you're in a Raptor. It's kind of foolproof.
You know, Adrian, you keep saying that, but somehow I feel like it's not going to be as foolproof as what you have claimed.
I mean, You're on a 37-inch tire. We're on a little tiny 32.
You'll be okay as
Yeah.
long as you don't do anything too stupid.
Do we look like a crew of stupid guys wearing the
we
same
might
shirts?
get some air points, some trick points.
On that note, you guys want to introduce yourselves? We'll go down the line, introduce everybody.
Sure, I'm Richard. I'm the unwise decision maker that agreed to do this thing per Adrian's nudging and cajoling.
I'm Jared. I'm the hired muscle, and if anything goes wrong, we'll be there.
Jared changed tire.
I'm here. I'm Amiro. I'm here to do media and just help out with the guidings and everything else.
Technical support too.
All right.
You'll notice none of us said anything about off-road experience whatsoever.
You got to start somewhere.
So this is the great place to start. Just,
Yeah.
Don't go out for 2 or 3 hours. Do it for 24 or more.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
The hardest thing is going to be staying awake and navigating. The driving part is not that difficult.
Tom, you've done these in the past, and
Yeah.
I've done these. Do you still feel like the staying awake thing is hard? Because for me, at least, I'm pretty amped for the whole time.
Yeah, I am. I have no issue staying up for 48 straight hours.
It's always the
and
crash
driving.
out after.
Yeah, it's I that's not the hard part for me, but I feel like for normal people, that's the hard part. If you're good at staying up and you can concentrate under stress, you'll be fine.
We're pretty good at this crew over here is pretty good at staying up.
Staying up, but active for
Being functional.
Yeah, because it's a lot more concentration than you would think, especially when for me the hardest part is when the sun comes back up. When you get started, you're excited, you have no issue, you're driving, you're good. Sun goes down, you kind of find that extra gear and focus because it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
But when the sun starts coming back up and your subconscious goes, "Oh shit, it's the next day," that's really where it starts to wear on you.
On that note, pro tip, just don't take that long to actually finish the course, and you won't have that to deal with.
We were told you can do it in 15 hours. Not by you, Adrian, by somebody in
might
this
be able to do
panel.
it in 15 hours.
What was your record at the Mothman?
So at Mothman, due to I guess you could say administrative error, we got put in as a write-in, so we started number 167, which with the staggered starts mean we started about an hour and a half from the first, and we ended up finishing 9th overall. So 19 hours, 40-something minutes of that. We had about 2 hours of stationary, just stuck behind other rigs on obstacles, creating bottlenecks, and then people break. It's not. I think in the last one, you guys broke a little bit. Didn't
We
you?
broke, but we still finished.
Yeah.
We finished in 23
I
hours.
hope you're the mechanics.
Oh no, we just drove it unbroken. It's still broke. It's sitting in the lot broken.
Okay, so it's not fixed. Well, thank you for
Not fixed yet.
Thank you for getting my rig squared away for this. Then.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think this course is 100 miles shorter.
Correct.
So it'll be a little bit slower, pace-wise. The Mothman Revenge is a long, fast course.
That was very much an endurance of how long can you drive, at least in the off-road sections when you're not around homes and businesses and roads, how quickly can you drive and maintain control of the vehicle and not just zonk yourself out on an adrenaline high? Because that happens. You can get into a flow state, and you're doing great, and then you're all of a sudden why am I shaking? Because you've just dumped adrenaline, and now you're just gonna fall asleep. So that happens. So a lot of that. The first one I did was Kentucky last year, which was really stupid. I have a buddy of mine hit me up. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna do this." And I'm like, "I mean, sure." Like, and we weren't prepared at all. And when we got there, Jed was like, "Oh yeah, this is the invite only one. You gotta qualify." And me and the gentleman I was with, Matthew, in a brand new Grenadier with almost no off-road experience, we're just like, really? So we didn't actually finish the course on that.
Yeah.
I think it was a little.
I think only like 20 people finished that.
Yeah,
course.
it was a slaughter.
Yeah.
We got to some stuff. Some of the stuff was, and then we found out after the fact that one of the local help, I guess, modified the course.
Sure.
Right towards the end of it. So there were some obstacles there that, like, there was no way that with any amount of winching or spotting that we were comfortable getting the rig over.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's going to be the two limitations that you run into in off-road in general are the rig itself and the driver. And like a good driver can take a small rig anywhere, and a bad driver can take a good rig anywhere.
Absolutely.
So, like for you guys being new in a Bronco Raptor, you'll be.
He's not saying you're a bad
be fine.
driver.
Not yet. You're
It's
just
okay,
a
I'm
new
not
driver.
sensitive.
Yeah,
You have the cheat code,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cheat code truck.
Yeah.
I am curious, when you get to an obstacle or someone gets to an obstacle and they can't get over it, is there like a path to bail to other people to get around them? Or
So-
if they're in their Subaru,
it
Subaru
very much
Outback
depends.
and
They shouldn't be
they're
there.
stuck,
Yeah.
But they
can
are.
we just not get around them, or how does that work?
It depends. Generally speaking, in the off-road world, if you have the ability to get around them, get around them. If you don't, and you have the ability to help them get over, whether it's spotting them, a winch, or whatever, get them out of the way. If you watch any of the Ultra 4 races and any of the like professional off-road race stuff, that's usually the case. Like if it's truly, as we call it, a trail tampon, like if you clog that thing up and nobody can get around you, it's in your best interest to get them out of your way, whether it's
The hill at the last one.
Yeah,
Like that.
I don't
We got
quite
up the hill and we'd caught up with the big tire crew at that
Yeah.
point, and they wouldn't, like, 20 minutes was spent just like convincing them to let us try it, and then we one-shotted it. 'Cause
Yeah.
we know what we're doing.
Somebody really should have
There should have been a
got
spot
up
there,
to
I
the
think,
top
right?
and winched them up. I don't know if it really needed to be a recovery point because we started 21st and like had no issue with it. Like
Well, yeah, I mean, you're on 37s on the shop G.
but like it was like one of the like I was
Competent
going
drivers.
halfway up the hill. I'm like, oh, this is way steeper than I thought, and then I put it in four-wheel drive and like went up the
it was
hill.
pretty steep.
So, but like at no point was that an obstacle that I was like, oh, that's gonna clog people up. Like
I didn't think so either, but when we got to that obstacle specifically, like that was I want to say that's the only thing that I counted as an obstacle.
yeah.
Of that whole section.
Oh yeah,
that
from start to checkpoint one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
the only like,
hard
obstacle.
Yeah.
But we spent so much time trying to convince all the other rigs to let us try it.
Yeah.
That when we got to the top, they were like, "Can you guys no?"
Yeah.
We just burned a half an hour like waiting. We would have
Right.
stayed in winch for half an hour or so to help you guys, but like you killed a half an hour because you wouldn't let us try because we've got 32s and you're
And
on
that's
37s.
the benefit of like running in some sort of group is like if one person can't make it, one person can, then like you can help your teammate or your buddy or whatever it is and not have that clog for everybody else. But like that really wasn't that hard of an obstacle. And there was plenty of places for them to like pull off and wait. And, like if nobody was going to stop and help them, like they should have just waited.
I think the team type mentality was really, really evident on the last one with the water crossings. Because there was, and I think I spoke to you two a little earlier about water crossing specifically, where you're going to want a higher resolution of the map and really pay attention because if like you're off a little bit each way, maybe that's 8 feet of water.
Yeah.
Damn.
So like there was the last one that was a problem of like rigs like I'm assuming they got there a little early and there wasn't people already there and they tried to take a line and ended up flooding.
Yeah, I think
Specifically the Subarus, but
yeah, from what I saw, 'cause again being further up for that water crossing, there were multiple lines out of the water.
yes.
And like when we pulled up, there were a bunch of people stuck.
Yep.
Like so, like we sat on the like we hadn't crossed into the water yet. We were up on the hill, and I was just looking. I'm like, all right, that guy's stuck on a tree root over there. There's kind of a line that way. what do we have? And like we just had time to figure it out, and then we were able to kind of take a different path. And I think a lot of people behind us did, and it cut in multiple paths, and that's where the Subarus and some of the smaller ones were like, oh, we can go that way instead of that way, and like maybe the main route was rutted at that point. Behind me at that point, but yeah, that's where like the rig, not having a good rig will get you in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. So from what I saw, some of the older stuff like that didn't have modern stuff on it. I think some of the like I think there were a couple vehicles with open front diffs, like trying to pull up out of that, and that was like that's gonna be difficult.
Yeah, I mean I don't remember really. There was like maybe 2 obstacles I used the lockers on. Like if you take a good line and pay attention, like you'll be fine. Jed usually doesn't make anything like impossible,
Except for Kentucky.
Well, there's hard and then there's impossible.
Well, I mean, I think tire size might dictate a lot of what's impossible. At some point, you run into physics.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you physically can't get your tire on it,
Yeah.
like,
When
you're
the
not gonna
obstacle
get
is
over it.
a foot taller than the tire, I don't really.
Oh, take an angle.
Adrian, are you going to make fun of me if I drown the Bronco?
He might
That'd
not,
be
but
a
somebody
lot,
will.
That'd be a lot of water. I'm not going to make fun of you.
Well, you heard there's supposed to be record amount of rain coming
Yeah,
up.
That's
That's
gonna
That's
concerning.
going to add fun.
That's not. I'm not that concerned.
You guys
for
have
them.
the map already, right? I haven't seen the map. And honestly, I've never wheeled Ohio, so I couldn't tell you.
We
I've
downloaded
seen,
it.
I've seen pieces of.
Okay.
So
I wasn't sure if you sent it out yet or not.
no, I saw pieces of it. I'm from Central Ohio. That being said, like the last time I lived there was when I was like 10 years old. So like, I didn't.
Does it count? Yeah.
Wheeling? What's that? That's a rich people thing. But I don't really know what any of that looks like. But I do know that we have a lot of very sticky clay. So
That's what it's known for, that red clay.
Like we have a lot of really sticky clay, so you're going to deal with loading up the tires and then not having traction. I think, maybe Tom, you feel a different way about this, but I think the best strategy when it comes to the mud stuff is just like, don't try to go through stuff without lockers and all the stuff. Just go ahead and do all the stuff. So that you're not, because you might not get a second try.
My general philosophy in off-roading in general is you don't have to do anything unnecessarily difficult.
Right.
So like if you have a mud puddle and you can go around the mud puddle, go around the mud puddle.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
not
with
gonna
the
lose
Bronco, we go through.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun until you're wondering why your oil and coolant temps are through the roof
Yeah.
because you flooded the
Or you're the guy that has to
intercooler
clean
and
it.
the
Oh,
radiator.
sure.
Yeah, so one of my the very first Bronco I had, we went up to Flagpole and bombed the things up there.
No.
And it was like 90 degrees out, and like for like the week after, I was like, why is my truck running like absolute garbage?
You didn't blame
And then,
Ford
like,
quality?
No, I popped the hood and I'm like looking at this thing and it looks like I've just encased the entire engine bay in clay. So I call up a vendor of ours that does like dry ice blasting. It dropped 28 degrees off the ambient coolant tip because like the radiators, the coolers, if you can avoid that stuff, because like, yeah, we can get the vehicle clean, but to clean out the heat exchangers and stuff like that, that's a massive operation and it's costly. And like, if you can avoid it, great. Just avoid it.
That's a
Like,
good tip.
like you got a lot of expensive heat exchangers on that, and if they get clogged up, you're going to start overheating.
Yep.
Let's dovetail. And what are the 5 best tools for you're going to use on this? Like, well, besides like communication and navigation equipment, I guess that could be one.
If you're not good at driving, a winch, a shovel, and a jack. Those are about the only 3
Do you
things
guys have a shovel?
We do not.
Yeah.
Do we need a shovel?
I have a big one. I have a
Probably
big
should go
one,
get a
but yeah.
Well, it's small enough to fit on the
Okay.
vehicle, so you don't have to strap it to the vehicle.
Yeah.
When it comes to tools, the philosophy we try to teach people is it's better to be looking at it than looking for it. Right? Like,
Right.
you may never need the shovel, but if you have it and you need it, it's there.
I like my chainsaw.
Chainsaws are good.
When we were
Especially on
practicing, it did come in handy. You were waiting for it too. We manifested that.
I know you could have just pushed it, but I really wanted to use the chainsaw. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, chainsaw's not a bad one. I'll carry a chainsaw if we're going out trail clearing or hunting, looking for something to do, with nothing to worry about. For the race, that's all pre-run the days before, so the odds of running into a tree are going to be pretty slim. But
And also, you guys are starting in second group, so you will have already had 30 plus rigs go through. So
That will help with nav too.
yeah.
Follow the tire tracks.
you'll be able to. That helps out a lot. Like when you get closer to the front, you don't have that much to rely on, and then that's when you make a wrong turn, and then you see like, you're doing your 3-point turn, and all of a sudden tail headlights right by you, and like then you're trying to fight to get that position back.
Understood. So if we catch up to Adrian, does that mean that he's having a very bad day, or we're having a very good day?
Probably a little bit of both.
I have a feeling that you guys are going to catch up with us when we
Really?
get towards the end. It's going to get way more technical. The event coordinators, when they pre-ran it, they're in a, you worked on the vehicle on 37s, and they took body damage and had some issues, and so I don't think we talked about rigs. So they're obviously in a Bronco Raptor, right? If you can't
the
tell.
matching shirts are actually pretty cool. I'll give you
I
guys
think
that.
the matching shirts are because it's a Raptor, right? Like,
I can't give you guys crap. We had matching jackets for.
It feels
the last
good. The
one, so-
synergy's alive.
Yeah.
I feel like having a
it's
good
nice,
team and a good attitude makes it for
Are
your
you
first
guys
time.
going to rotate seats?
Yes.
Or like it's like somebody like stuck in the back seat?
Yes. Well, we'll rotate. Amir's going to be probably running most of the navigation and
Okay.
stuff. He'll get the front right seat all the time.
Yep.
And it'll be a bounce between me and Jared back and
back.
forth for driving.
The best thing, and I say this a little bit biased, the backseat guy needs to be on top of the snacks.
We got that covered. We already got the cooler. My girlfriend packed snacks, Gatorades, liquid IVs, so we got that covered at
We
least.
had Trevor was in the back for most of the race when he wasn't driving, or the rally when he wasn't driving, and he was making fresh peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the back seat.
Oh, we got them
got peanut
pre-made.
butter?
We got
Oh,
it pre-made.
really?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
already.
Too soggy in
Yeah.
that cooler.
Oh, did you soggy?
Yeah, they get soggy.
24 hours in a cooler, man.
Think about that.
I mean, Amir and I are pretty much cavemen, so we eat it no matter what.
We did beef jerky and peanut butter and jelly.
It sounds like you hate yourself, though. Like
No,
that
it was
sounds
great. We got the good
That sounds like it's gonna be very hard to go to the bathroom a few days. After
No,
that.
so speaking
well,
of,
that-
what does
that's by
Amir do?
design.
He has to
Butter?
piss every
That's-
5
I
minutes.
was say that's by design. Here, this is the hard part because the easiest way to stay awake is hydrate,
Right.
but then you're gonna have to stop and piss every 4 hours.
So we made a rule that he just has to piss in a bottle.
Yeah, he
he
pees
has a rule.
too
He
often.
has a piss bottle.
I feel bad for the guys here that are gonna have to clean up.
Yeah.
Clean up the
Yeah.
when it's bad.
Rich and I can
we'll,
hold
we'll
it,
sub
but
that out.
I mean, we're going to channel Amazon drivers. And so, you just, Amir's going to have his bottle. We're going to leave it on the side of the road. For,
Got Daddy Bezos
No,
back there.
no
just
littering.
like-
Leave
Yeah,
no
no
trace.
littering.
Tread lightly.
Yeah,
We're all
no,
for
I
it.
have
no.
trash bags.
we
and everything.
don't leave stuff out there on the trails, like especially like all your giant white body pieces. Pick those up.
well,
Yeah, parts of your truck need to come get back in the truck.
It is
And hang them on the wall when you
Ohio.
make it.
I wouldn't be surprised if you lost a fender if we found it on Marketplace the next day.
That would be legendary.
Yeah, that's that'd be awesome.
I can't believe people do it in motorcycles.
It's so watching the motorcycle people do this. It's absolutely crazy.
I think the side by side guys are just as crazy, but at least they get to sit down.
Yeah, like the motorcycle
My
guys.
back just hurts thinking about
Yeah,
it.
it's wild.
My back hurts from doing it in a Jeep.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, so they're in the Bronco wrap. They're
We
gonna
got
be
the
fine.
heated
That thing's
seats.
super comfortable.
You got the heated seats.
Do you guys have memory? So that like you guys don't spend 20 minutes.
I've thought about that
Because that's a
actually.
problem that's a
Honestly, no.
problem that I have because my co-driver who's not here at the moment, Jonathan is like
don't make a short joke.
5'2".
No,
I think 5'2", 5'3".
No.
Like so, I'm only 5'10". I'm not very tall, but we have manual seats in the Grenadier, so it's you sit there, and so you can see like it's.
I'm going to be offended because Jonathan and I are the same height. So we don't need to hear your tall people.
Who has the
Jokes.
tallest lifted truck?
I'm overcompensating, obviously.
Clearly.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
I mean, they did take the steps off your Bronco. I don't know. Did you try?
I'm jumping into it. I'm going to probably have bad
You
knees by
haven't.
the end of
You
this.
I
haven't
missed
tried
the
yet.
I've jumped into it two or three
I
times now.
I
I'm
missed
like,
it already.
I will also say when you do pull over to pee, make sure you pay attention when you pull over because that 4-foot step out of the truck can turn into a 6-foot
Yeah,
step
easily.
real quick.
Yeah.
You get too close to that culvert and all of a sudden you go step out at night.
Yeah, that could be bad.
That's a good tip.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
We do have the headlamps packed. Speaking of, so I
Good
feel
job.
like that's
Headlamp
a
will be on the tool
Extra
list.
Yeah.
batteries.
Yeah.
Headlamp is a big one.
flashlights, cooler, tools. Well, after this, we're gonna do a dry run with the tires, switch the tires around.
You guys have like various blades and knives stashed throughout the vehicle.
Oh, we do like that. Yep, we have that already.
It's always useful.
Phone chargers.
Yep.
Tons of chargers.
I think
Even
Rich,
like power banks. Like
he started and installed Wi-Fi too.
Oh.
So I feel like we're gonna be like the
you guys
cruise.
streaming it live on YouTube.
They're gonna probably consider it.
We did buy a new GoPro 13.
You guys look where we're going.
Not really.
Do you think there's any kind of cell reception?
It's not
for
Starlink.
Wi-Fi.
You guys
You guys have Starlink? Are you on Starlink?
No, we're just AT&T.
Okay. Oh, okay. You might have
That
something.
might work for half the course.
Yeah. I didn't even enable that on the. We looked at doing the Starlink, but like that's a lot of additional
I
cost.
mean, we won't lie. We enabled it because we want to be able to YouTube things when we're in a panic. Like, oh shit, this is now broken. Quickly, YouTube.
What
a
app,
fix.
what app are you guys going to use for nav?
I think we're using Onyx,
Onyx.
Offroad, and then Gaia.
Yeah, we have to. They said for this one that they want us recording on Gaia.
Yeah, it gives more data as far as like.
I'm gonna be
elevation and
honest.
everything.
I feel retarded trying to use Gaia. Onyx is very,
hard.
very
Yeah, Gaia's
simple
kind of
and
hard to
very
use.
straightforward, and Gaia seemed really
They
complicated.
are really actually more similar than you think they are. Onyx, I think Onyx is better for like using it as like a turn by turn.
I think it's better for what we're doing. You
Yeah.
know, it just needs another layer of data that it doesn't have now.
Gaia gives a lot more data as far as road type, roads. Like if you're planning a trip, Gaia is really good for figuring out like, is this a right-of-way road? Is this a Forest Service road? Is it an actual county road? Like what? Like all those
That makes sense.
details as far as like not driving through people's farms and shit when you're in the middle
Yeah,
of
we
nowhere.
saw that. Yeah, we did see that.
yeah.
Which like where you're following a route, Onyx is really good for following a route. One thing I've always done with the routes is I'll ahead of time call gas stations, find your gas stations, mark every gas station,
Make sure they're actually open,
and they will tell
because
you
we're going to be
they're open
driving
and they won't
through
be
the night.
open. So always have backup
Wow.
gas,
So if
even
you're-
if it's not on the
Yeah,
route.
if you're planning a fuel stop
Yeah.
and you don't 100% know they're going to be open,
Yeah.
and you're down to like, 10 miles of range, that could be a problem.
Oh, we probably should have had this talk last week.
Do you know what your general fuel mileage is in that thing?
I know what I'm getting
Really
based
bad.
on the computer, but
Oh, so
Really
what
bad.
does the computer tell you get per tank? Like when you fill that thing to the
like
brim.
250.
So I would plan for a
Sometimes.
gas stop every 175 miles
Okay.
because you might get to that gas stop at 180, and you've got to drive 30 miles to the next gas station.
To give you an idea, the Grenadier has a 26-gallon tank, and we get less than 200 miles.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think you have
I think it's 19.
I think 19
Yeah,
gallons.
19.
It's very small for a vehicle that size.
My Jeep, like in my daily driving, will get 15 miles to the gallon. I'll get 300 miles out of the tank.
Yeah, I wish
I fill up at 150 during that race.
I wish my new Long Range America tank was here that I was promised. That would be
What is
come in
that?
handy. It's a bigger gas tank you can install in the Grenadier, so you have
okay.
36
That is really cool.
gallons.
Oh, cool.
But it doesn't matter because it's not here, of course. So
36 is still not enough. So Eric Miller has a 60-gallon tank in the back of his Jeep.
I was wondering. I don't
It's
think
a
he
fuel
stopped.
cell. Yeah, he
he
doesn't.
didn't stop.
Yeah, he doesn't stop. He
That's impressive.
Here's the so if you guys aren't familiar with off-road racing, Eric Miller is a professional off-road racer. He races.
He's
unlimited
Ultra
class.
4, right?
Yeah,
Unlimited,
unlimited
right?
class Ultra 4. He's won King of the Hammers twice. He's based out of Maryland. He's won 2 of the 24-hour events.
Oh, nice.
In his relatively stock Jeep. It's a lift kit and 40s
Okay.
And a 60-gallon fuel cell.
and a 60-gallon fuel cell.
Is he going to be there?
No.
Okay.
No, he's not running this
We have a
race.
chance then. We have a chance.
Because he's not showing. Actually, his buddy did the engraving on the trophies for us.
Oh, nice.
When I showed him the pictures, he's like, "Eric's gonna be mad. He's missing this one. He's gonna want one of those."
We did see the trophies, so we're going for one of the trophies. There's a lot of different categories,
I was
so
like, what class? Like, are you guys
We're Class B.
B? Okay.
Yes.
So you have a chance.
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it's.
I mean, you probably have the most capable vehicle in that class by quite a margin.
You might have a couple other Bronco Raptors to compete with, but yeah, it's like from a Vegas odds standpoint, the
Yeah.
the Raptor warrants.
But
getting you good.
we've always been the dark horse, pun intended. You know what I mean? We've always been the dark horse in there. So
So jokes are fun.
Yeah. Tom, real quick about fuel, because Amir asked me this earlier today, and I didn't have a good answer. He was like, why don't we just get extra fuel tanks or whatever? And I told him that I heard
Do not put them inside
I heard
the
not to
vehicle.
do that.
No, don't
So-
put them inside the vehicle. Leave them outside.
But here's a problem. The one I did in West Virginia, we had a Rotopacks on the side.
Yeah.
If you run into a tree, it opens and then it goes onto the exhaust and catches on fire.
That's why you don't mount it on the side of the vehicle.
Yeah, so-
Roof, back, or the back are usually pretty good.
So I have I'm not putting any fuel on the outside of the vehicle.
yeah,
Maybe on the back. Maybe on the back doors.
What I did, I carried empty cans, and I was like, it was like, if I felt like I was going to need them, I'd fill them and keep them in the Jeep.
Add that to the quick list of stuff we have to do after this podcast.
And if you all, if you fall in love with this, like kind of like I did, where you want to do this all the time, then you start thinking of really silly things like, I think I need to fabricate a giant fuel cell. I don't need a back seat. Like, you know.
Yeah, it's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it's starting to get to a point in, like, knowing Jed, like, I don't. The class thing is new for this race. Like, it used to just kind of be a free for all. 150 people.
Me and him talked about that a lot for the last one.
It's
because it was the last one was the staggered start time thing's good, but like when you have, and I realized that we started 167th because of an admin error, but like we started behind, and we're not anything crazy. It's a very, very pretty much stock Grenadier, but we started behind like lifted Subarus.
Yeah.
And like the Jesus Mobile, assembled by the Church of God, powered by Jesus, this like Suzuki Rodeo or something. But like we started behind those vehicles, which, you know, like we all like passing and stuff, and that's fun. But like obviously, the more times there's passing and the more traffic, you're amplifying the unnecessary risk.
So we did the very first one, which was last year, which was the reverse of what we did this March. And
I really like the West Virginia one.
yeah, I will always do that one. I'm really hoping Jed sorts out the date thing for.
I think we should do it
Kentucky.
in more solid winter because I want more snow.
There's a lot of variable because you do have to worry about like the passing, the accidents, and everything else. Like, so the snow does get iffy. A lot of those roads are seasonal. Like that big highway that we ran that was snow covered.
Yeah, that was sketch.
That's a seasonal highway. That's not open in March.
Turns out
the U.S. Forest Service opens it
KO2s
specifically for that.
Turns
event.
out KO2's hydroplane at 80 miles an hour on snow.
Yeah.
Who know? Like,
Yeah, it's a like. Have you guys ever done Skyline Drive?
Like in a car?
Yeah,
In a car, yes.
So it's the West Virginia version of Skyline Drive, and it's literally like, if you don't know much about West Virginia, a lot of their mountains, the tops are literally cut off for mining. So the Forest Service built a road across the top of one of those mountains. It's just a scenic highway. It's like a 4-lane highway, completely shut down at night, covered in snow for us to just bomb down.
we went through there. I want to say it was probably 1 or 2 a.m. We were making our way through there.
It wasn't too.
We
much
saw
after
you. We
passed.
saw you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Like, we saw you guys.
we
on
stopped.
something.
We stopped to winch people twice. I had to fix a flat, and we stopped to give somebody fuel. And then I think like you passed us like shortly after we gave that guy. We stopped. to
Thank
give
you
that
for the
fuel.
pass.
Appreciate it. Look, it's one of those things where, as the mechanic, I could win it if I like if I put 37s on my Jeep, that thing is built well enough to win, but I'm probably gonna break something and then I gotta fix it.
You could just start with a Raptor and then not break as many things.
Yeah, but I'm half the cost of a Raptor to my Jeep right now.
Copart exists.
Also true, but then I gotta fix that. Like I have 4 different projects.
You
right
fixed
now.
the thing on his that broke, so like,
Which
I'm
I
not saying
greatly
couldn't
appreciate.
Fix it. It's a time thing.
you know.
Tom, are we allowed to talk about what you did?
Sure.
So people can know?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't understand what you did. I just know it was broken and now it's fixed.
Yeah.
So
Are we talking about the alignment?
how did you fix it?
Yeah.
No,
Because like we can't be the only people who have had this
yeah,
problem.
it's I've got the. So on yours we plasma cut them because of the time frame, but I have a test cut from laser cutters coming. Basically, at some point in your practice, I guess you guys jumped it.
Yes,
Maybe.
allegedly.
It was necessary.
If you're gonna jump a vehicle, the Bronco Raptor or even an F-150 Raptor, are probably the only two off the dealer lot that I would even consider doing. Ford, for whatever reason, went cheap. I'm amazed that nobody else.
You
had
answered
this
your own
problem.
question. Ford went
Ford
cheap.
went cheap.
Yes, I know.
That's
Look, there's a lot of things. I'm not brand specific about anything. I will never own a Ford. I've been a mechanic for too long. It's just one of my things.
No, Adrian, we guess we
offense.
messed that up.
I just bought a 250 Platinum to tow my Grenadier.
I know the 250's nice.
Diesel.
Yeah, but you also have the budget to pay somebody to work on it. Like, I could pay somebody
It's
to work on it.
under
I'm not
warranty.
going
Why would I?
to. Yeah, it's my point. I don't buy things under warranty.
Oh.
Because then I have to go to the dealership.
That's fair.
Anyway,
Section 179.
the alignment adjustment on your lower control arms essentially is an offset washer. So there's a big bolt with a grooved washer it's kind of a triangle shape, but when you turn it, it moves the bolt in a slotted hole, which moves your lower control arm and adjusts your camber and caster angles. When you jumped it, those washers are only held in place by tiny little 1/4-inch pins.
Tab on there.
That makes sense.
They're not even welded in. They're just pressed into 1/8-inch sheet metal.
Yeah.
So when you jumped it, it put all of the weight of the control arm and that bolt on one of the pins, and it blew the pin apart. So there was no way for us to adjust it, and now your control arm is just flopping around in the frame. So what we did, which I'm still blown away nobody makes this, because they're all over the place for Toyotas, because Toyotas are a similar system. We replaced the pins with like 1/4-inch thick sheet metal bars.
Excellent.
So it's all fully welded, and it now functions the way it's supposed to, and it will actually take the force of coming down on that wheel.
So, if I'm hearing you correctly, now it's jump proof.
I wouldn't go that far.
We're
For
going to do
insurance
it again.
purposes, I wouldn't go that far.
It's jump proof.
The alignment tab will more than likely survive. The rest of the vehicle, I can't control.
For folks watching at home, when we were driving home from the mountain, the steering wheel was literally sideways.
Oh, yeah.
it was
For
so
those folks
brutal.
watching at home.
I didn't.
Where'd the chunk come out of the beauty ring from?
I hit a rock.
That's usually.
That's a rock?
Yeah.
How fast were you going?
How big was the rock? I think let's start there.
The rock
Wow,
didn't
we're having
move,
lots
did
of. So, no, the rock didn't move. It was a large rock.
I get PTSD.
We were
talking
probably
about
going
this.
50 or 60.
No, up there. And guys,
were
let me
going
tell
quite
you,
fast.
I did Peters Mill first, driving through
There's
it.
no rocks on Peter's Mill.
No,
There
so,
are rocks on the sides.
so he was,
supposed to
he
be in
drove
the middle.
back.
Well, I was supposed to be in the middle. You're correct.
I know the Raptor's wide, but like, it's not that.
I don't know if that. I don't know if the
Maybe
Raptor can
70,
help
80.
them.
Yeah.
We got
Some of the service roads,
Allegedly.
not actually
Allegedly,
on Peters
allegedly.
Mill, right?
Well,
No, on the trail. Like, we thought
the service
we're dying.
roads.
So, Rich, Amir's driven. I've been in cars, many fast cars with Amir, and let me tell you, Rich was driving like a man possessed. But so,
it was a good time.
Good. I'm just glad you're getting more comfortable with this thing.
oh, I
think-
got a quick safety question: do people wear helmets while driving? Because I thought
They are
about
not
buying a helmet. We both thought we needed a
They're
helmet.
not required.
It was my first time wearing a seatbelt in the back of a car. That's how bad it was.
In the Bronco Raptor, you probably don't need one. If you had a full roll cage, I would recommend one.
Yeah.
That's my professional opinion.
So we'll keep the top
You-
on then.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep the top on.
Yeah.
You've got Halo airbags. That being said, they're not going to deploy if you're in any mode other than normal. So
Okay.
So don't leave it normal, because if something happens and it blows the airbags, like that's a lot of money to replace airbags.
Yeah.
So we don't.
Unless you
we don't-
really want them to go off.
We don't.
but-
Yeah,
no.
I can't really think of a scenario other than you guys rolling down a hill in the dead of night that you want the airbags.
Well, the nice thing is
Fire.
most hills on the East Coast have trees on them, so the trees will stop you from going all the way down the cliff.
Do you think the Raptor is stronger than a tree?
Some trees.
A small tree.
Let me
Some
tell you,
trees,
a
small
couple
tree.
weeks ago, that was our biggest enemy. I was scared
Yeah.
a few times.
Yeah, yeah, I actually find it easier to go faster at night because
Yes.
you don't see the trees.
Absolutely.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Just
a lot of
tunnel in on the road.
a lot of the stuff specifically towards the end up in the mountains with the snow.
Yep.
Like I went back and looked at that where we were, and I'm like, yeah, we were sideways at 50 miles an hour
Yep.
around that corner, and that's a
snow
1,500 foot drop.
Yeah.
So
right off the side, no
speaking-
guardrails,
resort.
nothing.
Speaking of nighttime, do you like white light or yellow lights when you're running?
In clear conditions, I am a white light person personally. There's a huge benefit in dust and snow to the yellow and amber. That's the science behind it.
We
It's
were
the light
liking the
that's
yellow
reflected.
last night
Yeah.
practicing.
Yep.
Yeah, we all have on our rigs, both the Grenadier and the Raptor a lot of Baja Designs lighting on there.
Yeah, you guys went
and it
real heavy.
and it works really well. My biggest thing, the very first one I did, the Kentucky one, we just had the headlights from the Grenadier, and we came up behind a side-by-side, and it was so dusty.
Yeah.
And he had ambers. We turned our headlights off. We could see better on his ambers in front of us than with the white light.
Yeah.
Like, you guys will see that because, you know, you're not going to be starting absolute first. You're going to be behind people. If it's not raining the whole time, when you hit a dusty section, I mean, you remember you saw some of the stuff in my blog right up the first time, and some of the pictures, it's like 50 mile an hour on the dash, but you can't see anything out of the windshield. You're following taillights.
That's the other. Bring a ton of washer fluid.
Yep.
Yeah, that was coming up on the list. I was like,
Yeah.
Lots of washer fluid.
I honestly just brought gallons
There's
of
lots
water
of.
to refill
I was
it.
about to, how many gallons is lots of washer
I
fluid?
went
Just
through
1
like
gallon?
2
or-
gallons of water.
Oh.
And then we had a case of water bottles to drink, and we were poking holes in the caps and like trying to power wash off the light bars and the headlights. Because they just we dealt with freezing temperatures. Like
that was bad.
Our last fuel stop, we had one working door handle because all the door handles in the Jeep had frozen solid.
Wow.
Oh, you're just the last one, right? Yeah. The back of the Grenadier, the latches froze solid. Like I have a photo of the back of the Grenadier, and like you can't see color.
Yeah.
There's like an inch and a half of ice accumulated on it. Oh, wow. So yeah, it's pretty wild. We're not gonna have that this time, but I think
you won't have that problem.
true fact.
Shouldn't have that problem.
I broke a door handle off that way with frozen.
I could see that. Like,
He was like,
Hulk smash.
I was like, oh, hey, it's not working. Just snapped off with the freezing cold.
The one advantage you guys will have is if you can't get over something, like stacking rocks or logs or stuff to like fill holes, like it's good to have muscle.
Yes.
Because I'm usually the muscle guy in our group, and like my back's blown out, so it's a pain in the ass sometimes.
On the first one I did, we lost a tire, and this is the first time I've wheeled like the Grenadier at all, right?
Yeah.
And has a 32 on it, and I'm like, oh, the guy I'm with is smaller than me. I gotta change the tire, and I'm having like PTSD flashbacks because all my Broncos prior have 37s on them.
Yeah.
And it's like that's 140 pounds of tire and rim, like going up off the back of it after you've been stationary in a vehicle. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're usually not on level ground.
Yeah, and it's muddy, and you're slipping and sliding, and like if
you're really lucky, you'll be able to get off of whatever trail it like.
Pull off.
I split a sidewall and had no idea until we got off the trail, and there was somebody behind us that like radioed up and was like, "Hey, Dirt Nerds, your front left's flat." And I was like, "Oh shit, really?" Sure enough, as soon as I like hit pavement, like I just felt the whole Jeep just tip and like the steering wheel pull. I was like, "Yep, that's a flat tire."
Yeah.
And we were able to pull off on the side of a highway at least and get it changed. But
I mean, luckily for us, I guess, we went out off-roading 2-3 weeks ago. His buddy came with us, and his buddy is a 4Runner TRD Pro. Okay. That's a nice rig.
Yeah.
And he tore through the side of a sidewall, and we got the practical experience of, hey, have a patch kit, and hey, be able to, if you have a undermounted spare tire, put it inside so that you don't have to go through the trail disaster of trying to get the tire out in the dirt. And
I've also seen guys in pickup trucks where they're undermounted drag their spare tire over a rock ledge, and then they go to get their spare
spare split
because they even you don't even realize it. It's
that's
like,
terrible.
My pickup, my work truck, I don't carry the spare under it. It just sits in my garage at home because like it's not worth it.
Expect the unexpected is what you're saying. Anything could happen.
Yep. No, that's no. I think this is going to be good. I think this one is going to be a good intro for you guys. I think it's going to be fun. I think you're going to be very surprised at how fast the whole experience goes, and then you're going to be at the end of it. You're going to be just like, what the hell did we just do? Like,
does that include the monsoon rains?
Your whole equilibrium is going to be screwed up. You're going to go to drive at like highway speeds and be like, what's going on? Like, it's just everything's weird. But yeah, it's a.
Are any of you guys boat guys?
Oh yeah, we grew up
like
on boats.
Doing like 50 miles an hour on the water feels like you're doing 300 miles an hour.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of the same thing. Like when you're doing 40, 50 in the woods, you feel like you're doing 150 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's
especially on switchbacks and like it's.
The last one, the big thing, the last one, Tom, you probably remember this. You remember this too. Like Jesus, 500 plus switchbacks.
Oh yeah,
super tight.
That's West Virginia though.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I have no idea. I haven't seen anything
It
map-wise.
kind of
from
all
Iowa.
blended together after a while. I was like, didn't we just do this? Like,
I bet.
back and forth. There's a lot of that for this one too.
Is it? Yeah.
So we're gonna have a notebook. We're recording all the stops as you suggested. We got the GoPro. We're gonna film everything, and then, I mean, I think we all got the dirt bug. Where we're just gonna. This will not be our first and only one.
All right.
Yeah. So
That's a bold statement considering you haven't done it yet.
well,
He's an optimist.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
So now the question is, will you guys get Broncos or trail rigs after this?
So I think I'm a Bronco.
leaning that way?
I feel like I have to
Yeah?
get. Rich got me enough Bronco gear where I feel like my next
have to have
vehicle
one.
is a Bronco. I was telling Adrian when we were practicing out in the mountains, you know, you're in a performance vehicle when you look behind you and we're eating lunch and still no one's there.
Yeah.
You know, so like Adrian said, the Bronco is a cheat code, and it's amazing what this thing can
the
do.
Bronco Raptor specifically.
Oh, yes.
Because the regular Broncos are built out of like balsa wood and twigs.
Watch yourself. I've had two.
I know.
I had two. You worked on both of them.
Yep.
Did I ever bring you a broken rig?
Yes.
No. Kevin brought you broken rigs.
Fair, but like there's broken and then there's broken. Like Kevin broke shit.
Yeah, that's operator stuff. I'm not into that.
It is, but it like some of that stuff shouldn't happen. Like if you're building an off-road rig, like that kind of stuff. Like
Well,
the
at
stuff
the
that
end of
fails on the Bronco is stuff that shouldn't fail.
But at the end of the day, everything, at least, you know, and this is, I'm not one to defend OEMs for decisions, but at the end of the day, it's a business.
Oh,
Everything
yeah.
has to be built to a cost.
Yeah, no, I totally understand why they did it, but
And 99% of the people that are buying the new Broncos aren't going to see dirt. Right. So,
well,
what's
and
the point?
that's always been my argument against the Bronco is as much as people give Jeeps shit, and I'm first in line for that. You guys can go through any of the 150 episodes we have. Like we have a T-shirt called the Anti-Jeep Jeep Club because we all have Jeeps and we all hate them. Like they're giant hunks of shit, but they're so good at what they do because they're hunks of shit, right? Like the wind noise, all the handling issues, all the things that people complain about Jeeps are what make them really good off road, which is why we use Jeeps for it. Like I take shit at the shop all the time. We have customers that are like, "Oh, what Jeep do you drive?" It's like, I don't really drive it. It's the broken silver one in the parking lot. And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, I got to get to work every morning. I can't drive my Jeep every day. Like, that's ridiculous. I drive a 08 Honda Civic because it's got 250,000 miles and it starts every morning. Like, my Jeep's a crapshoot.
What you're saying about the regular Bronco, I definitely feel that, though. You know, the first one of these I did was in somebody else's Grenadier.
Yeah.
And I was shocked at how solid that vehicle feels. To the point where, like, that's why I got into one of these for this format of event.
Yep.
I'd done quite a bit of stuff with the Broncos, and also the big thing, another big thing too, that like you haven't experienced yet, you will though. But driver fatigue is a thing. More road noise, more weird sounds, more weird airflow things like that. Certainly like sucks some energy out of you. And if you look at like our onboard video versus like yours, my dash is not going to rattle at all, no matter how fast I'm going, and that has to do with like a build thing. Yeah. The Grenadier is so far, and Jonathan, my co-driver, is a huge Jeep guy, big modified Jeep, and same thing, like shockingly good for this type of event. We've got 3 lockers, 32s, as much articulation as a stock Sasquatch Bronco has. Yep. Mm-hmm. Everything's armored, and it seems like, knock on wood, like I don't know if I can break the thing.
Yeah, they've from having.
I mean, you've had it in the air and stuff. It seems pretty overbuilt.
I almost think they overbuilt it to a fault. Because
what do you mean by that?
It's very solid. It's very good at what it does, but I think they made it too complicated. Like
really?
Yeah. There's too many. And like I get it for the price point. Like you have to have luxuries.
Oh,
it doesn't have heated seats though.
I have heated seats.
Oh, you do have heated seats?
Of course, I have heated seats.
Oh yeah,
I'm not a peasant.
It said it was too hot.
It's not leather; it's suede.
Oh no, you did say it was too hot last time. I forgot. You said it was too hot.
No, actually, the Bronco has that same problem. Whoever is in charge of off-road heated seats, it's like you have off or hell. There's only 2 options there. I remember the first time I was I was out doing Bronco off rodeo in Moab, and it was cool, and I put the heated seat on the first time, and I swear I like burnt my back.
Yeah.
Like it was so hot.
My wife's
Like,
Kia will make me uncomfortably warm to a point where
So
she does it as a prank.
Yeah.
Like, we're like if we're on a long drive, she'll like quietly reach over and like
you
turn it on
felt
high.
the Grenadier within like 3 seconds
Oh, yeah.
of the seat on. You're like, why is this so
I
hot?
think you had the heated steering wheel on at one point. And my shop is 2 miles from here. Before I got to the shop, I'm pulled over because I can't hold the steering wheel.
So silly.
Why? It doesn't need to be that hot.
But no, I'm very, very. The only thing I really wish I had is like obviously some larger tire.
Yeah, that's the only thing, and that's why I say like it's overbuilt in the sense that it's really, really, really good at what it does. But I feel like if you ever have an issue, like fixing it or maintaining it on the trail is going to be really difficult to do.
I can see that.
Like in the Jeep world,
There's a lot of stuff packed in there. There's not a lot of room to work.
Yeah, and like I think they're fine in the sense that they're probably not going to break for like what we call soft roading. Like
Right.
most of what the 24-hour events fall under soft roading.
Yeah.
Like if you guys have fun with this and want to like go up a level, let me know. We'll take you out. Like we don't have to go very far to do some pretty intense off-roading where like we can break shit and have fun.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. He just wants to sell you more fixes.
But same as you. You want to sell me more stuff too.
No.
For the Grenadier, it seems to be pretty reliable because he was telling us how he went out and it ran out of coolant or something.
Yeah,
He just
so
drove it for hundreds of miles.
This is
no
this
coolant.
is
and
really wild. Nobody at Grenadier can answer this. So, hey, if you're listening,
Have like a safety, like a shutoff valve,
no. So
like
it is
Titanic or something. Like,
it is a BMW motor,
Yeah.
right? But from what I can tell, they've pulled all the safeties off of the coolant systems.
okay.
And I say that because the one that we did in Kentucky, at the end of it, we started overheating, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong. It was not leaking fluid. He drove it all the way home through the mountains from Kentucky down to North Carolina. Turns out it had no coolant in it
At all.
And then we're up at Flagpole, another Grenadier, another instance, really thick ice and puddles, and someone who is probably too excited about their brand new vehicle. Turns out ice is kind of like a spear at
Yeah.
speed. Punctured the radiator and drained all the coolant, and he drove it back to DC.
I wonder if they have like
Like a secondary system or something.
or if there's enough of a like sump in the block that it can still circulate without running it through like the lower radiator hose isn't like the lowest point or something.
But we know on that one, it tore like a 3-inch hole in the radiator, instantly dumped everything. And the crazy thing is the vehicle which kind of falls under the idea of like, they built this thing to be able to go do safari stuff, cross continents.
Yeah.
Like, if worst case scenario, God forbid something happened,
Yep.
I don't want it to be like my modern BMW where like I'm low on coolant by like
waiting for
a
a flatbed.
thimble, and all of a sudden the vehicle won't run.
Yeah,
So
for them to remove the safeties, I think that's the smart thing to do.
that's
'cause
the only thing we can think of that they've done, because like I don't understand how it runs with no coolant.
Yeah, it's
like,
I
'cause
feel
it's a
like
BMW
When you
motor.
get back, I'll have to take yours apart and figure it out because like.
Yeah, to the point that I looked at, like, I wanted to put a sight glass in, like, the upper radiator hose.
Sure.
Just to be able to visually check it, because obviously we're not going to check it on the trail.
There is no oil dipstick.
Yeah.
That is
I know.
the
That's
one
kinda
thing I wish they
stupid.
would have added.
Yeah. I think that thing has, like, a transmission dipstick, though, doesn't it?
No dipsticks.
I thought something was under the hood.
We tried to check it all.
Okay. Fair enough.
Adrian, why have you not put bigger tires on the Grenadier?
I do these because I like to be challenged, physically, intellectually, and from a strategy standpoint. And, I think if I was in a Bronco Raptor, it would be way too easy.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't done bigger tires. The other reason I have not done bigger tires is apparently a lot of the people who started making parts for this right off the rip did not know what they were doing, correcting geometry, and were running into like some drivetrain bind. But at the same time, the smaller tire has benefits. I can carry more speed. My center of gravity's lower. I can handle way faster on dirt and stuff.
More fuel efficient.
More fuel efficient. If I got to change a tire, I'm not going to break in half, and I don't need to carry 280 pounds of muscle with me. But there's a lot of benefits to having a smaller tire.
The trend the last few years in the off-road world has been, what's the biggest tire I can fit?
Yeah.
And like, it's gotten to a point where like 35s and 37s are almost normal.
Fairly normal.
And it's like, it's cool. The market has cooled off a little bit where like not everybody is buying an off-road rig, and the guys that are sticking around the off-road world are kind of realizing the same thing. Like, if I have 42s, like I got to go drive 15 hours to go somewhere that is even remotely close to challenging.
42.
And like, you know, I've wheeled a lot of different places. I don't have any plans to ever build anything with bigger than a 37-inch tire. Because if you can learn your vehicle on 37s, you can drive it anywhere.
And it's kind of like, you know, when I was younger, about 10 years ago, I was big into half-mile racing. But that's not really like a sanctioned type of event. It's essentially whoever has the biggest wallet wins. Like, you know, that's there's, you know, so underground racing and AMS crush everyone, right? Like, so it's kind of like it becomes too easy, and then kind of like, what's the point if it's not challenging? What is the point? You know, I do this for like adventure, and like I think, you know. Actually, when I met Dick, working on his Z06. Actually, I think Amiro introduced us, right?
Yeah.
Same here. That's how I met him, too.
He's got a C8 Z06, crazy car, good driver's car. And I've been telling him, like I tell a lot of my friends and clients, get into the off-road stuff just because it's a very different thing. And it's not like, you know, if I go to a track day with the GT4 and I screw up a brake, that's a $15,000 set of brakes. Like, the cost associated between the sports car supercars and the off-road rigs. I have on the Grenadier, you know, I probably don't even have in it like what a set of wheels for my Ferrari would cost. You know, it's a massive difference.
The other argument we always tell people, like, when was the last time you got a free track day at a public track?
Yeah, it's so expensive to do it. There's so much logistics, and it's like I still enjoy that aspect of motorsports, but at the same time, I find the off-road stuff, the people are a little better that I meet. It's more fun. It's actually challenging. And it's not just who can write the biggest check. You know, because like that stuff, I realize that's kind of funny. We're literally sitting next to a $500,000 new 296. Shout out Ferrari, Washington. But the off-road stuff is awesome. And every one of my clients and friends that have like taken me up on that are hooked on it now.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, you're dead on the fact that like it's fun, it's accessible, and the people, like, I'm the same way. I was a car guy. I've owned a ton of BMWs. I used to go to, you know, weekend meets, cars and coffees, all and like it's way more welcoming in the off-road world. Like, you know, the Jeep and Toyota guys and the Bronco guy, like, everyone's always jabbing each other, but at the end of the day, like, we're gonna help each other, right? Like, the Bronco might be broken on the side of the trail. Like, I'm not gonna go, fuck you got a Bronco, sucks to suck, see you later. Like, should have bought a Jeep. But like, that's happened to me at like autocross events where it's like, hey, like, you know, anybody got a wrench I can borrow? No.
Yeah, that's just not. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like, and I'm like, in my day job specifically, like with what I do run into a lot of like high-level ego type people, and I don't really run into those in the off-road world. You know, so it's a really different thing.
They exist, but they're far and few between, and like they're usually outliers, and like,
they're usually
they
like
stick to themselves
pretending to be Ultra 4 drivers, right?
Yeah, like we got called out. We were in Moab last year, and we were just cruising around, and my brother-in-law has a stock 94 XJ, like the old square Cherokees. Well, I guess it's got a small lift on it, and like he was living in Colorado at the time, so he met us for a couple of days in Moab, and we did Hell's Revenge with him in his little tiny XJ. We're all Jeeps on 35s and 37s. That's cool. And like, we got him through Hell's Revenge with no issues.
That's
but,
really
like,
cool.
Some douchebag in a Gladiator on 40s is like doing 40 miles an hour through the trail, and he's on the radio like, pull that piece of shit over. He's like giving us shit.
Dang.
And we end up like all stopped at the same point. And like, he was like, you guys need to go back to the beach and this and that. And like, people out of nowhere were just like, fuck you, dude, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, they're telling him off, and then like just like 30 people end up chasing one guy off because he's being a dick. Like,
that's
like the off-road world just doesn't play around with it, because like at the end of the day, if you can do it in whatever vehicle you want.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as we're outside and everyone's safe and not getting hurt.
Yep.
I mean, that's the point.
Have fun.
Hey, we could be sitting in the office, you know.
Yeah. No.
Are you guys all like from Virginia-ish?
Southern Virginia.
From Richmond.
Okay. Well, yeah. So Southern Virginia, you're used to
the woods.
expanse of the world, right? Like, I think we get spoiled on the East Coast on how close everything is. Mm-hmm. If you go far enough west, you can not see anybody for days if you want to, and I think like that gets lost in translation once you get east of the Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And like, I know you're building a Ferrari, but there's no Ferrari that's going to take you in a lot of places yet. But
stay tuned.
That's the best part of off-roading is you can go anywhere you want, right? Like if you want to go fast and do track days, you can.
We'll have to
do it.
We'll have to do a whole nother sit down talk about that whole crazy shenanigan thing.
Yeah.
Silly ideas.
We're excited and looking forward to some beach events too. I know one just happened. The Bronco group went down the Outer Banks.
You need a Jeep then.
Jeep
people love hanging out on the beach
and have the flags and everything like that.
We should do a trip up to what is it? Is it Michigan? Michigan has the dunes. Is that Michigan?
Oh yeah, Silver Lake.
The big dunes.
Silver Lake sand dunes.
Yeah,
northern
the
Michigan.
big dunes where you can get like 80 feet of air.
Yeah.
What?
Like,
oh yeah.
80
In
feet.
a car?
Yeah.
Well, no, in a Bronco Raptor.
But you're 80 feet off the ground in the vehicle.
Yeah, once. Haven't you seen like Whistling Diesel do this in the G-Wagon?
Yeah, then he completely destroys it. Yeah. That seems not great because
I'd wear a helmet for that.
What I learned in this session
awesome.
is I've learned the cheat code now to get out of spending more money with you because I'm going to say, Adrian, I don't need to spend any more money because I want this to remain challenging. So that's what I'm going to say every time we try to charge me money. Adrian, I'm not going to buy that because I want to enjoy the challenge.
Have I ever suggested suspension and tire mods for you?
No, but every other kind of mod you've suggested.
No,
we're gonna run out of mods eventually.
Everything that we've done run through the list. Like everything that we've done for the Raptor and the Grenadier, frankly, is just stuff
lights?
That you just kind of need to do. It's
Onboard
minimal.
air,
It's
lights,
convenience, safety, convenience, and
and multimedia 6-screen
navigating.
90% of off-road stuff is comfort and convenience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like you can take a stock anything off-road if you want it to. It might not be fun and comfortable, right? Like fitting a bigger tire helps you roll over small rocks and drainage culverts and
Makes
all that
it a little
kind
more
of
comfortable.
stuff. Like it just makes everything more comfortable.
Minimizes the chances of body damage.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of that kind of stuff.
The number one mod you can do, we call it the driver mod.
Absolutely.
Just get seat time. Just go out and do it. And like at some point when it's no longer challenging, then you start doing harder trails. Like you don't necessarily have to build your vehicle to do harder stuff. You just have to challenge yourself a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you could be doing in the Raptor that you'd be so outside your comfort zone. So we have the Bronco Army Facebook group. There's like 1,300 members in there, and there's quite a few Raptors. And some of the stuff, like we'll go to like POTS and some of the more challenging stuff, and the Raptor can do some stuff that you're just like, oof, that's uncomfortable. I mean, the 30+ degree side leans, like it's a lot of.
Like we had Bailey Cole on the podcast, Dave Cole's son. He races a factory Bronco in Ultra 4 in the 4600 class.
Wait, use a factory. So it's the one that actually is a Bronco.
The Jegs Bronco.
Okay, not the. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. So
this is our Bronco. Okay, guys.
No, the Fun Haver Broncos are not.
That's not a Bronco.
That is a full tube chassis race car.
Yeah, it just says Bronco on the front.
No, the 4600 is the stock class, but it's a two-door Bronco on portals and 35-inch tires, and it races King of the Hammers. Like that's.
I've wheeled the two-door Bronco. It's very tippy. Very, very tippy.
Yeah. I mean, the Raptor being 9 inches wider, like you're gonna have tons of stability in it, but they are incredibly capable as they sit, and like it is like you said, entirely a comfort level. Like once you get comfortable doing something, you're gonna be like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah. Tom, if I was in lieu of bigger tires, I've been kicking around just doing, because they're starting to offer this from the factory, portals for the Grenadier. Because then I could still have a small tire, but I would have more clearance.
Yeah.
Or do you think that would just ruin my center of gravity?
I think it would ruin your center of gravity.
That makes sense.
They say technically it doesn't. It's gonna sit a little bit higher. I think for what you're doing with it, I don't think it's necessary.
I don't think so.
I think you'd be better off going to a bigger tire.
Yeah.
Are you going to get some fancy ceramic brakes for it?
Ceramic brakes do not go with off-road vehicles.
I don't know anything, so that's why I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You know how
that's
many
a
people I
bad
talk out of
idea.
drilled and slotted rotors
Yeah,
on
it's
a
a
daily
really
basis?
bad idea. Yeah. Stuff gets stuck in them. And ceramics don't do well with dirt and mud and all that stuff. Anyways.
Hot and cold.
Yeah, hot.
You get them real
cold.
hot, and then you go through a creek, and all of a sudden your brakes shatter.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, did I tell you guys about that?
No.
So make sure you're paying attention to where your water crossings are and you're not, like, your brakes aren't glowing red when you hit the water.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be instant rotor warp. Like, and then you have to deal with that.
Jed's
which is
really
gonna
good
suck.
about marketing them.
Yeah.
Like, the other thing I'll do for nav, the other tip, now we're talking about it again, I'm thinking about it, the waypoints, you can change them in Onyx for different colors and symbols. Go through and read whatever note Jed put into that waypoint and mark it for what it is. That way they're not just all a bunch of X's and you're going, oh, what's that? Like remember where your water crossings are, like learn how to use the app and read everything. Give yourself more notes like for what you want. That's a good thing to do.
I think, honestly, the first one of these I did, the hardest thing was nabbing.
Yeah.
I think that was by far the most difficult thing.
Yeah. If you want good practice, like just you can run Onyx as your GPS out to Ohio, just so you can get used to what the map looks like and how it turns as you turn.
We have a pretty good navigator. He makes routes up for other rallies in the
Okay.
DMV area. So as far as our nav guy, I feel like he's pretty high level.
Good.
So
It's yeah. I don't know if you did it or not. Like we called out turns once it got dark.
Oh, yeah,
If
absolutely.
we didn't have taillights in front of us, it was we started like, hey, you got a hairpin coming up, a right hairpin.
Yeah, no, me and I've got a lot of experience driving in general. And Jonathan, my co-driver, he used to race motorcycles.
Okay.
So like, yeah, when
Those guys are nuts because they can.
he's a
navigate
guru.
and
Honestly,
ride
he's
at the
teaching
same
us a
time.
lot too.
Yeah. You don't get a co-driver on a motorcycle.
Yeah. So, but no, we're like the rally style call out for stuff. Even like, you know, with you, which I really wish we had this, but you know, the idea is like paddle shifters are stupid until they're not. So the Grenadier has a really nasty habit of being in the wrong gear.
Yep. And that's what Jeeps.
Yep. But you,
should.
with the sweet paddle shifters and stuff, like you can make sure you're in the right gear. So if you guys get good enough at this stuff of like reading the map, you'll be able to be like, okay, you need to be in gear 3.
Oh,
Just so you know you have power out of the turn.
That's the next
'Cause you
level.
know where, yeah, that's what, if you listen to any organized rally, and, you know, one of my buddies from STEC, Michael Hahn, the head of marketing, he actually races. He's a dirtfish instructor.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, like, you know, watching their in-car feeds and stuff,
Yeah.
they're calling out corners and they're calling out speed and gear.
Yep.
Like, along with the corner, because, like, everything now is, you know, you're a big turbocharged motor. I've got a big turbocharged motor. Like, if you're not in the right area, you go to like power out of a corner, you're just not going to be any power there.
Yeah.
And then your boost is going to build up, and then you're just going to spin the tires.
Yep.
So, like, it's all about smoothest, fast is still relevant off road, for sure.
I would argue it's more relevant
Yeah.
because it's way less traction.
Yep. You're constantly driving, and I was talking to some of my buddies that do a lot of instruction and whatnot, and you know, also listen to some of the big Ultra 4 guys, and it makes sense when you think about, you know, how do you develop a better driver? And I think a lot of that is like learning. Like I have a 3-year-old, right? So like he's never going to drive on a sticky tire until he's older, because learning on a surface with no grip where you're constantly exceeding the capabilities of the tires makes you a way better driver on a track, because you know where that limit's at all the time. Guys that just spend time on the track, and I've got a lot of clients like this that I go to track days with, and I'm not an instructor, but I coach, is they don't know what to do once you've crossed the boundary of grip. Once the grip is gone, they don't know how to react. To where on dirt, you get real comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Like,
So, real question. We were practicing, and then I thought when we were first doing it, I was like, is the Bronco doing it? Is or Rich doing it? Because at first I thought he was making adjustments, and then the Bronco was. Then we discovered there's an extra grip mode. Would you want to be in that mode, the help, or?
What are you referring
What
to?
was it? There's like an extra button we did for
The traction
Yeah.
control.
Mud mode.
There's traction
you can either turn it all the way
control.
off or leave some of it on, and so
Okay, so
It's a loaded question.
yeah, this is.
I think I know how you're going to answer it. And I think it's
Like,
the same
is
as
he
how
gonna
I'm
say
going to
for
answer
are you gonna say for challenging?
I'm
or-
gonna answer it the way you guys need to leave all the shit on.
Yep.
Okay, because it really is the cheat code. I was like, man, this Broncos
Yeah,
doing
you
everything.
leave everything
It's like
on.
hugging the earth.
9 times out of 10, the computer is smarter than
Very,
the driver.
very good. It's very good.
I personally I like to turn it off.
Yep.
There are situations where I'll turn it back on, and if any of the guys were here, they would beat the shit out of me right now. But a couple years ago, we road tripped to SEMA, and on the way home, we went through Moab.
Oh, you did
and some
SEMA?
trails, yeah.
Oh.
And we were in a rental Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, which is like the little tiny Fiat, but it's got all the drives, got all those fancy modes, and I put the rental car into a snowbank because I was like, I turned all that shit off. I was like, we're on a trail, like we're having fun. I'm turning all this off. I got all-wheel drive. We're having a blast, and it just, I mean, like 50 feet into the trail, just right into a snow drift. And I was like, all right, let's see how snow mode works. Put it in snow mode, 4 low, and the thing just drove itself right out of the snow. And I was like, shit.
When I first met Rich, we did talk about doing a road trip out to Utah.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. I've been to Moab, seen Arches, Canyonlands, Bryce Canyon,
So-
but it's hiking.
That's some of the I've wheeled out. You've wheeled out.
Yeah.
That's some of the best wheeling.
The best thing about Moab is it will give you so much confidence. There is so much grip.
Yeah.
Like you will literally, you'll look at stuff and go, "There's no way I'm driving up that," and it will just drive up. Like no lockers. Like you don't
no
even need
locker.
four-wheel drive. I was
'cause
there
you're
for
not
10 days. I
gonna
turned my
slip.
lockers on twice.
wow.
Yeah.
The Broncos like
super,
Spider-Man.
super sticky.
Yeah.
Like it's literally driving on sandpaper. Like it's a great place to learn because you'll figure out what angles are too sketchy, how far does the tire tuck, how big of a rock can I physically fit over without like really risking damage. Where those same size rocks on the East Coast will shatter windows.
Moab is beautiful. I think I'm really curious. I looked at some of the stuff. Jed said there was quite a bit of off camber in mud.
That doesn't surprise me.
That should be very entertaining.
Yeah.
You guys haven't done a whole lot
You got-
off camber work, have you?
We have not.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, the
Do you know what the no-go is for the Raptor? I don't know.
it's probably not as. It's probably a lot further than you think for how wide it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would also argue if
Because it's so wide.
Knowing Jed and the routes he'll use and what he considers off camber, it's probably a lot of like rutted, notchy type roads that you guys will probably be able to straddle because of the width. Like that falls into that same. You don't have to do it the hardest way. Like if somebody in front of you who's not nearly as wide is down in a rut and they're basically dragging the side of their vehicle along the ground, like if you can straddle that rut or that notch, just straddle it and drive right over it. It'll be twice as fast.
Okay.
And you don't have to worry about ripping your fender flares off.
Speaking of which, is this the ad break where we talk about your shop? Because if I tear up my car,
Sure.
do you have a body shop to fix my vehicle as well?
I don't.
I have a body shop.
I would use.
You know this.
I mean, I can send you to a guy, but it's not going to be worthwhile. It's going to take forever. He does like my full paint jobs. We do like 1 or 2 frame off restorations a year on some of the like classic Jeeps and things.
We literally have a Bronco Raptor behind us
Yeah, it was
on
just
the
painted,
wall
yeah.
that's Brewster green.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if you do destroy it that badly, you know,
Hopefully not.
don't
Hopefully,
destroy it.
Just buy another one.
Hopefully just
Take
fender
my
flares.
advice
over.
and modify your insurance.
Not before this thing. I haven't.
Oh
That's not really modified. I mean, you're going to insure a couple light bars, like
no, you do an agreed upon value.
yeah.
That's what I did on the Grenadier.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're not going to total it. Don't let him talk you into that.
Oh, well, I hope. Yeah, I didn't think I would told it, but I think
avoid
I made a
trees.
dent on the door or something.
Look,
so.
it is Ohio. There's a lot of trees. And
Yeah,
you're
avoid
very wide.
trees.
Yeah, and mechanically speaking, I have really bad luck in Ohio. Like the last 3 road trips we've broken down in Ohio, specifically Zanesville, Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's fuck- yeah.
That place sucks.
We call it Zanesburg.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I know where every AutoZone
Did you go to
is.
church there?
No, we were unfortunately.
You know the church there is a church. It's actually a strip club.
Oh, no shit.
Been there since the beginning of time. It used to be a church.
Wow.
I wish I had known
in,
that.
like,
That
the
would have made my time
60s.
there much more enjoyable. Not the strip clubs you want to go to.
I mean, do you like teeth? Some circumstances.
That's a loaded question too.
Yeah, it's actually the podcast.
Yeah, I'm saying in what context? I like having teeth.
Yeah, no, that was. Ooh.
Yeah, no, we put 2 fuel pumps in PJ's Jeep in the AutoZone parking lot in Zanesville in the same day.
Wow.
Why 2?
Because the first one the brand new Delphi out of the box did not work. So we had to drop his tank all over again and put it back together. And that was after we were driving for 32 hours.
That sounds like wheeling with like, you know.
That wasn't wheeling. That was driving home from Moab.
Yeah, but that's like wheeling with like Kevin finally got rid of his Bronco
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
paid you a Bronco to work on it because they kept breaking stuff.
Yeah.
And he got this crazy Toyota crawler
Yeah.
rig thing, but like every single trip we've been on, we fixed something on it. Like clutch valve.
Kevin, the guy we went to flagpole with.
Yeah, with the 40s.
With the- yeah, yeah,
Toyota,
yeah.
40, whatever he's on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. He keeps trying to get me to do that, but I'm not really interested in towing a thing to a trail. And
You're doing that now.
no. It's
got a point.
No. I'm only doing that because if I didn't, I would total it. If I'm trailering it, I won't total it.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like carry a shovel. You'll never need it.
Or, you know, God forbid you break down hard. Do you want to pay a recovery bill all the way from Ohio to here?
No, you're going to tow me home if you need it?
Oh yeah.
Is it going to fit on your
That's
trailer?
very magnanimous
fit.
of you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's,
Yeah,
it's
it'll
a
fit.
wide truck.
Well,
Oh, you'll be able to carry it weight-wise. It's
Yeah.
just will physically fit on the trailer.
It'll fit. It's an 8-foot trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, 8-foot deck. It's open.
I have a
So
8-foot trailer, and my Jeep has to drive over the fenders to get it on. So
yeah, it's like completely flat. Like it's
all right.
Jonathan. It's literally he bought it for towing off-road vehicles.
okay.
So like it's it'll work well.
Okay.
Yeah, and like if you break, we got you.
That's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
you just can't both brake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna break first.
Well, we're starting first, so I don't know how that works for that. You know, but
Victory lap.
I've done a lot of wheeling with Jed. He doesn't go too crazy. He'll throw in like challenges, but like you don't really get the sustained, as I call it, fuck you, like where you're just getting beat to shit for hours.
Okay.
Like he'll beat you to shit, and then you'll get a break, and then you'll be like, oh, this isn't so bad, and then you'll hate him again, and you'll be like, oh, this isn't so bad, and then you'll miss a turn. Like, God damn it. He loves to do like reverse turns, which I don't know how many of those actually exist in Ohio, but in West Virginia, all these like side road, like you'll be on the highway, and then all of a sudden you're making a right turn, but you're going the opposite direction. So it's like a hairpin right off the highway onto a dirt road. And like you're just cruising along at 60 miles an hour. And it's like, right turn coming up. And you're like, where? And it's behind you. And you have to like literally whip around 180 degrees. There's a lot of those. Those are the route notes that I always take from Jed.
I like
Find
the
them, find
the
them.
last one. We were up 2 Broncos backsides for the last section.
Yeah.
Right before the finish line, they took a left onto the only side-by-side trail, the extra loop they did,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
right past them.
Yep.
Navigation is the most important thing.
Yep.
Like, that's literally the most important thing.
Unless we're aiming for that worst
Unless
nav
you're trying to
trophy.
get... That is a
It is a
cool
pretty
trophy.
sweet trophy.
That's a sweet trophy.
It kind of
The
looks like a
staff.
magnifying glass.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
That's
Everyone
that's
magnifying
what you
glass.
guys were going for?
Yeah.
Ah.
And we're also getting rid of recycled parts.
Oh,
But
shit.
they're going to look great on somebody's shelf.
They're
That's
looking
all
awesome.
that matters.
Maybe I could put one up there. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. For the smallest tire award. Did you guys do one of those?
No, it's class winners.
Because at the last event, there was a Subaru on 33s.
Yeah.
I'm on 32s. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like I said, the driver mod is the best mod you can do.
Absolutely. When you get back, you guys should look up some like actual recovery courses and stuff, and get out there and actually do that kind of stuff, because those are the skill sets that you use when stuff goes wrong, and like trying to figure things out is the wrong time to do that. Like you should know all your stuff.
Yeah, well, luckily Jared's a medical professional, so he's used to working under high
Yes.
stress.
I've been out there in the Appalachian Trail and actually broke my finger with the rock climbing.
That, but yes,
I
that
mean,
too.
yeah, in high stress, I've been out there in medical situations in the woods, and still have all my fingers and toes. But
Nice.
Yeah, I would argue from a mindset standpoint, if you can avoid the situation, that's the best deal. Like that's especially in an endurance, like long distance rally kind of situation, like mechanical sympathy and survival.
Oh,
is a
that's
much,
one.
No,
No,
you're good.
will you get that of me? I think it died. Yeah.
That's
Sorry for the
That's
noise,
the-
y'all. It's dead.
Oh, listen.
Oh,
if-
nice.
If you go back and listen to the podcast, like we'll do them in my backyard. We've done them in my garage. We've done them in the middle of the woods. Like we're not like a studio podcast. So you're good.
Burn the footage.
Yeah, no, you're good.
This is like the most professional setting I've seen you do this in.
Probably, yeah. Outside of the conference room at PRI, yeah, this might be it.
Yeah. Oh, with your little collared shirt.
Yeah. I dressed up. We had fancy people.
We wore collared shirts,
Yeah,
so
there you
we're
go.
in match.
Yeah, it was that.
You look like Meet the Flintstones. You're bowling. That's what we're.
That's what I thought of.
Are they like actual bowling shirts?
bowling shirts.
Yeah,
Bowling
okay. I didn't want to like call them out as bowling shirts, but
That's
So my buddy gets all this vintage clothing,
You know
and I
what?
told him,
Shout
I was
out
like,
to
hey,
him.
can you get us some Bronco gear? He's got us like Jared's hat,
Yeah.
several other Bronco gear. I was like, hey, we got a thing to go to. Can you get us some matching Bronco gear? And it happened to come in this afternoon. He's like, I got some bowling shirts if you guys want to all. I was like,
the thing that's gonna be fun is when you guys win, and then every event after this, everybody's in matching shirts. That's how it's gonna happen.
I'd like to bring a degree of professionalism to this.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, at the end of the day, this is all for nonprofit. It's all supporting charities and stuff, and like the
Yeah, this-
whole.
yeah.
You know, we were the only ones at the last one that have like what you'd call livery on the vehicle, and the
Yeah.
attention that it got was crazy. Now, granted, after half an hour, you're not gonna be able to see anything on it, but like I feel like if we're gonna go do these things, and most of them are benefiting nonprofits and charity in impoverished areas, like we should do our best to like put on a show. right?
Speaking of, there's your co-driver right there.
Yep, there's Jonathan.
Yeah.
Jonathan, pop in here for a second.
Yeah.
Coming over to load up the Grenadier.
Yeah,
He's in the same fuck Ford group as you. That's why he's got a Trex.
Yeah. That's
I'm gonna convert him though. He's already had a couple seat times in the Raptor. He's like, oh damn, this is
it's
so good.
That sounds just like him.
Yeah, I can't. It's a working on it thing. I think I've. It's
Have you
PT
turned everything off in the Raptor and slid it around?
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's pretty great.
It has nothing to do with a ride quality or performance issue. Like they're definitely fun to drive. It is specifically Ford as a brand, the door dinger. And this like goes back to my days as a fleet mechanic where I had a fleet of Super Duties and just listening to that fucking Ford.
Oh my gosh, I've been there.
Mind numbing. It's the worst thing in the world.
Well, hey Jonathan.
hey, Jonathan,
Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Not the first person to crash the podcast. Won't be the last.
Here. Have a seat real quick.
Yeah, Jonathan,
For a
take my
couple seconds.
microphone. You have a lot more knowledge than I do.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Jonathan, I'm glad you're here because they were talking all kinds of shit about short guys, and
We weren't.
I'm
was
glad
just-
that you're here to help
we
us
took the steps.
stand up
We took the rails off his. I just was making sure he could get in.
among
You
other,
were
among other
fine.
comments. Oh, of course.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
You should have left the steps on. It'll help you from body damage.
So everybody else
Well-
has been introduced here.
So
We're at the
different
end of this, and we're about to
but,
wrap it. But
You know, I respect Jonathan a lot, and he said take the stairs off. But also, I don't know if I can use the jack on the actual railings that were there.
you can.
But I can use
Oh,
the jack
yeah.
on the,
It'll-
on the
it'll
rock
break.
rails. And so we wanted to be able to jack it from anywhere on the side because the jack
that's
you can
fair.
use any
That's
place on the rock rails. So it was. I'm trying to sound intelligent. It was about utility. See, I was thinking.
That's
you don't
that
try to
is a
sound
good
intelligent.
reason to.
You are intelligent.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate
yeah.
that.
You have about maybe 15 hours total off-road time, and you're about to go run a 24 and $100,000 rig.
Clearly, I'm intelligent. See?
Yes,
Good choices, children.
You'll be fine.
absolutely. Jonathan, you want to
You'll
introduce
enjoy it.
yourself, man?
Yeah, I'm Jonathan Branco. I been doing this for a little while, but this is my second 24-hour race. Looking forward to it. Been wheeling for a long time, and yeah, should be fun. The first one was a lot harder than I expected. I mean, just grueling in ways that you don't think about until you're kind of in that scenario. But we pushed through it. I think we did really well. And, you know, just looking to, it's a challenge, right? I enjoy that aspect of it. It's not just, you know, it's not just crawling. It's not just going around corners fast. It's really taking a lot of
It's a
things
lot of
into
strategy
consideration.
that,
There's
like,
a
you
lot of
wouldn't
it.
think is there, but it's a lot of strategy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I would just tell people that I would talk to, even as a passenger, you're like constantly paying attention, right? Making sure that, you know, we're looking out for obstacles or other people or how we're going to get around that. I mean, at least I was just constantly thinking. Where at the end, I mean, you're just like mentally exhausted, whether it was from driving or even just being a passenger. But it works well.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. You guys will be fine.
Dick, you're going to do excellent.
Yeah.
I have really high hopes.
No pressure.
But there,
I do want a
please
trophy
win.
though.
There
so now
isn't.
I'm-
Please win.
Now I'm super motivated.
The trophies
I
are
want one of those
really
trophies.
cool.
we have some
They're
spare,
all in the
Trophies
back
are
of the
awesome. They're
Grenadier.
pretty cool.
we have some
that's
spares.
awesome.
We can do some participation trophies if you're into that.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
You've got
Let's get a
you've got
participation.
the maddest white Bronco there. Is that a trophy? Can you make him one? I will 3D print a little Bronco Raptor in that white if you want.
Well, speaking of white Bronco, I'm going to try to pitch you now in front of the audience. Can I get 32, please?
No, we're not going to swap the numbers.
Come on.
You said you wanted 007.
How appropriate would it
You've
be-
got a Bond fetish. I made that happen.
I didn't think about it that it's better to have an OJ Bronco with a 32 than a 007 Bronco. 007 drove Aston Martin.
You don't have enough rocket launchers on that thing to be 007.
Yeah, exactly. So I need a and then you could put
You got to wear one glove.
you should put down on the bottom run OJ run. Come on, dude.
When are you guys leaving?
The
have a
joke
Sharpie.
right itself.
I have a Sharpie.
Dude, we could have so much fun with that. It's a white Bronco moving fast, getting away from things.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong?
In
Exactly.
Ohio.
Nothing bad has ever happened in that scenario.
You have a radar detector?
Yeah, we have one in there. Yeah.
I've got one quick question. Is this the team uniform? I just noticed.
Yes, we have
Oh,
the team
okay.
uniform.
All right.
We need to
A
level
little
up.
bit,
We need
a
to level
little
up
bit,
next
a
time.
little
We
bit,
didn't do
a
a
little
team
bit.
uniform.
Grenadier doesn't have any merch.
If you guys
yet.
win, everybody's going to be in matching shirts. I'm calling it right now.
That'd be hilarious for the next one.
Yep.
Yeah, team mechanics.
That's right.
Like, we've got some GlasWerks.
Yeah, we need some GlasWerks merch. You need to step up and make that happen.
We have merch.
Get us jackets.
Jackets. You want
Make
a
like
race
a
jacket?
GlasWorks members club jacket.
If it can be
Members
like
only?
70s colors, like
Of
a
course,
ski jacket.
I'm all
from
about 70s. What are you talking about? That's fine with me.
That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
That'd be
Or-
awesome.
Or just, I was even just the NASCAR jackets, like the big bulky
Sticker's
ones from the
super
90s.
inconvenient, but I do
And some
love
old
Fig
starter
Newtons.
jackets.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
starter
all about
jackets
that.
would be great.
Oh, the teal.
Yes.
The teal one, right?
Yes.
God, was it
I mean,
Charlotte?
that's on brand.
The Hornets?
Yeah, the
Hornets,
Hornets. Charlotte. Are they still in Charlotte?
I
don't know.
I couldn't
The-
I
tell.
don't follow any of that stuff.
They changed the name to the Bobcats now. Oh no, they changed back. They are the Hornets
Basketball
again.
team?
Yeah, basketball team. They changed back, right?
But they were
Way
like
disconnected
teal
from
and black,
basketball.
right?
Yeah, they were, and
No,
they
it
changed
was a
it. They changed it a few times.
There we go.
Oh, awesome. I think probably
Wrap it up.
Wrap it
You guys-
up.
Any other questions?
and on to dinner and loading the Grenadier up. And
No,
stuff.
yeah, you guys. Still
Any
gotta
other
pack.
questions, comments, or any concerns?
Oh, I'm sure we'll have some, but it'll be probably too late when we ask them next time.
No,
We'll be in the middle of it.
By the time everybody sees this, it'll
be over.
either have failed miserably or it'll be a great success.
They'll either be photos,
So
of,
you'll be able to look
like,
back
with
at
the
this and
trophy,
go, "Oh,
or
shit, they
photos
should
of
have paid attention."
one of the rigs in pieces.
You can do one of those editor's notes. This is not in well.
Yeah, we won't. we don't do that much post production.
There needs to be like a sequel or a part 2 to this, right? Like
Yeah,
the
we can do that.
before and after, and just what did you think?
It's just Dick
How
sitting in
was
a
it?
dark room, sweating.
It's just a for sale sign on the Bronco.
Exactly.
It's like the spotlight right over it.
Rich,
Just crying.
the drink of the podcast.
Oh yeah,
we forgot
yeah,
to shout out to
yeah. Any shout outs or
Well, a little shout
personal
out.
promotions
Personal promotions. Well, I mean,
where people can find you guys, follow your race because we're not racing this.
so GlasWerks DMV, GW DMV on Instagram and Facebook. We're gonna throw up some updates and some live stuff when we can and we have reception.
Yeah, that's the hard part about doing
After
that.
the fact, I'm probably gonna do a big vlog write up for the
Okay.
website, like I did on the first one. Didn't do the last one. Haven't had time.
Yeah,
But,
it's in the same boat.
and then Dick, what's your Instagram?
Oh, I don't really know how to use Instagram, so they'll give you theirs, and mine's somewhat involved in it.
Follow the Bronco Raptor built to be used, and his Corvette too. So
That's a good one. And also host events out here in DMV. DMV Car Community is my page. So
Yeah.
I'm getting into off-roading. Adrian's getting me into
yeah.
it. So we'll
Everybody
hopefully-
should get into it.
Yeah.
so
Not everybody. We should probably pick and choose who we invite to do this.
no bad attitude.
I don't want anyone sitting in the parking lot revving their off-road rig. Like that's not allowed. I will burn your vehicle to the ground.
Unless like Gentani makes the exhaust for
They can fuck off. Like
Wow.
no.
I will say,
Keep that trash away from me.
don't let anybody give you guys any ducks.
Just
They have
My Little
little horsey
Ponies.
ones now.
Yeah,
You
we
seen
need
the
My
horsey
Little
ones?
Bronc,
Ponies.
yeah, you got Bronc. Yeah.
You got bucked.
The funniest thing in the world to me was when the Bronco came out, everybody was like, oh, it's so much better than a Jeep. And then they do Bronco Beach Invasion. Now they give each other little rubber horse. I'm like, you guys have Jeeps. You should have just bought a Jeep. Like, what are we doing?
Meanwhile, on the Grenadier forums, everybody just complains they haven't got their jacket from Grenadier. their Belfast jacket, of which I don't have. So Mile 1 Grenadier, if you could, maybe do something
Are
about
those your
that.
matching jackets for Kentucky?
No,
You guys gonna get the Grenadier team?
They actually like ship out like a full-on leather Belfast jacket.
Wow.
Yeah.
See,
That's
this
fancy.
I say this lovingly because I love how much off-roading has grown, but this is also the problem with the growth of off-roading. Like, I don't know, an expensive jacket with an expensive rig just doesn't match the general idea of like go out and turn.
So
your
you're
Jeep
saying
into a
G-Wagon
racing-
owners aren't welcome?
I would say they're not
are you gonna
welcome.
say that on record?
No, because I wheeled with, this was years ago. I wish I remember the guy's name, but he had a lifted G-Wagon. There's a company that runs events in Winchester, Big Dogs Off Road, and they're
Yeah,
on
I know
rock
those
crawling
guys,
weekends,
yeah.
The guy had a lifted G-Wagon, and
silver one?
yeah,
I wheeled with him.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
he beat the shit out of that thing.
That's awesome.
And I was like, dude, you are my hero. Like, you need to go to every G-Wagon meet and tell people this is what you should be doing. Like, if you're gonna spend the money, use it. Like, you're using the Grenadier. You know,
No positive opinions on the Canon AT4X AEV with the full white interior.
I wouldn't order it with the white interior, but I like the AT4X. I almost bought one.
I got a really cool truck. I just don't know what happened with the interior.
Yeah, it's the white thing. That was the launch edition. They did that, right? No, all of them.
AEV ones are white. I've looked at multiple. That's super depressing.
That's kind of doesn't make
It's
any
like
sense.
very-
That's the only problem with people with money getting into off-roading is the OEs are building luxury car. Like, I've screamed it for years. Jeep needs to give us a Rubicon with rolled like manual windows, no power locks. Give me a cloth interior, no carpet, but a 4-to-1 transfer case, 456 gears, 35s, like all the things you get in the Rubicon.
Yeah, but-
for 35 grand, and it'll be the best selling.
But
regular
everything that you're talking about right now, like
makes too much sense.
right, it makes too much sense. And at the end of the day, as much as the sport has grown from a sheer number standpoint, it's still a niche.
Oh, 100%.
Like it's still a niche. So like the Bronco's still going to have an independent front suspension.
Yep.
Your Jeep's still going to have power windows.
Oh yeah. It's not that it shouldn't be available at all. It should be another option because like you don't need heated seats. Like the new Extreme Recon Wrangler is like 68,000 sticker.
That's so much money.
Which it's a ridiculous number for something that is designed to be an off-road rig. When like you can, like if they made this, like they're kind of doing it where the Willys package has a rear locker and the Rubicon suspension and it's like more of a base model, but there's a large disconnect from like hardcore off-roading and everything else. Is like there's no middle ground there.
Yeah.
And like
Makes sense.
all the good OEM off-road rigs are really, really expensive, or they're just missing that detail, like white interior. Or
Another one is, at least in the American market, we dove super hard into the like hot desert race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone's
obviously.
top of the line model is
I mean, Ford is
like
like,
in the desert and that's
yeah.
it.
Yep.
No one's out there like, hey, like really stretch the suspension out. There's no real OEM for crawl.
do you know why though?
Well,
It doesn't look-
suspension costs like 20 grand and they get an upcharge.
And it doesn't look good on the commercial.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
exactly.
Tom, you shoot stuff for us all the time. Like, you've seen us do some gnarly obstacles, but on camera, it doesn't look as cool as a fucking car jumping 80 feet.
It
Like,
would look really sick though if your snorkel wasn't a desert air intake and you like took a meter line. Then your commercial could show like windshield depth,
Yeah.
water fjording, or I don't know, your wheels and tire packages come and they don't like blow sidewalls right off the roof like we did with the early Broncos.
Yep.
yeah, that was a problem.
There's also option packages like we kind of spoke on it.
Yep.
A lot of brands, I'm sure it's the sales team, but a lot of brands kind of, if you go up to a premium, there might be an option on a lower model that you prefer, like cloth seats.
Yep.
And there's no way to go down to that option just because you prefer it. I think that's kind of weird. Like, if I want a AT4X Canyon AV, but I want the stock cloth interior in it, charge me for it. But like, allow that to be an option instead of kind of gatekeeping everything up. And there's a one feature that you really want, but you want all the other features of the other model. Like, hey, it's not that different, just offer. If I want to build a release into your budget, I should probably be able to do that at enough.
Cool. Well, this has been awesome. I actually really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
We should do this again.
We'll definitely do.
Fun.
I am curious to do a post.
We should do a follow-up to see.
Yeah, we'll do a follow-up when you guys get back.
All of a sudden, Dick is like the most knowledgeable Bronco Raptor. I mean, you've probably already wheeled the Raptor more than 90% of people who have one.
Also true.
So,
You know, I've seen the mud. I can vouch for it. I've fixed half of the damage.
And that's very appreciated. Thank you very much.
Awesome, guys.
So thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being on. And you guys know where to find them. You know where to find us. Dirt Nerds Off Road. That's it. Yeah.
Sweet.
Wrap it up. Good luck,
Thanks,
guys.
See ya.
Let's try to keep it shiny side up.
Yep.